Alright, how's it going? So, just an update on the Bivol Beterbiev fight, right? I've already made a video on it, but since then the fight was cancelled. Now it's back on again. That's great because I think it's the best fight in boxing. In terms of two guys that are probably in their prime. I mean, Beterbiev, we don't know, right? Because he is aging. He is on close to 40, I think, 38 or around there. So it's hard to say if he's in his prime still. But he's definitely looked good. We haven't seen him fade yet. So, still a great fight. I am going to go with Bivol. I'm sticking with Bivol. Beterbiev, he's built different. He hits like a train. He's very strong. I think he has underrated boxing skills, especially his footwork, right? He's not a flashy guy. He doesn't have footwork like Ali, but he does have footwork more like a Joe Louis, a guy that just uses small steps to corner his opponent and then unleashes on them. He's a very smart boxer, doesn't waste any movement. So Bivol's going to have to be perfect to win this fight. But if you look at boxing right now and you could only choose one guy to box the perfect fight, it probably is Bivol, right? He is very good for pretty much every second of every round. He makes very few mistakes. He's hard to catch because of that in and out style he has. And he boxes almost flawless. The one question I have is, can he get the respect of Beterbiev? We'll have to see. We won't know that until we're maybe 2-3 rounds into the fight. Because if Beterbiev just doesn't respect his power, then he's going to walk him down and probably stop him or beat him up anyway. But I do think Bivol can get his respect, and I do think Bivol, being a little bit younger, a little bit faster, and like I say, boxing, he can box at a high level for every second of every round. That's why I favour him in the fight. I do think he'll win a decision. Nothing's changed there. What has changed is we now know the undercard. Okay. Very, very disappointing that Shakur Stevenson is on the undercard. The guy's a boring fighter. He's of the same ilk as Devin Haney. Just boring, terrible fighter. Not what we want to see at all. I just don't get it. I don't know why any promoter would be interested in signing a Devin Haney or a Shakur Stevenson. They're just boring fighters, boring boxers. Sure, they have skill, right? Okay, they have skill. But if you're only going to use your boxing skill to fight on the back foot and be defensive, nobody wants to see that. We don't want to see that. Shakur Stevenson, he's put in some boring performances, and then he gets criticized for those performances, and what does he do? He takes it out on the fans. Fans don't know shit about boxing. Yeah, alright, we might not know much about boxing, but we know what we want to see, and we don't want to see you. We don't want to see your boring style of fighting you know, going the distance against mediocre fighters. You know, we don't want to see that shit. I mean, put it this way, he's fighting Joe Cordina. Joe Cordina's coming off a knockout loss. There's about a 99.9999999% chance that Shakur Stevenson is going to win this fight by decision. You know, it's not interesting. There's no interest in this. We know what's going to happen. Okay? The only opponent or opponents that I'm interested in seeing Shakur Stevenson fight, same with Devin Haney, are guys that have a chance. You know, guys like Tank or Loma or Ryan Garcia. You know, if Shakur Stevenson was fighting one of them, then I'd be interested in the fight, because at least there's an element of not knowing what's going to happen. You know, is Stevenson going to outbox them, or is he going to get knocked out? You know, there's that element of not knowing what's going to happen, and that's what's interesting. You know, but when you got a guy like Shakur Stevenson who takes very little risk, who doesn't want to engage, who doesn't want to knock out his opponent, who just wants to, you know, be on the back foot and win a decision, and he's up against a mediocre fighter, you know, how is that interesting? You know, so yeah, nobody wants to see that. It's a big disappointment, especially being on the undercard of such a great fight. You know, we got Bivol and Beterbiev, a great fight, and then on the undercard of that, hey, some people are probably going to fall asleep during the undercard and miss out, you know, because that's what Shakur Stevenson does. You know, he puts you to sleep. He's a boring fighter. So yeah, I just have to say that, you know, no idea why they decided to put Shakur Stevenson on the card. I mean, yeah, I would never think about signing him if I was a promoter. I'd never put him on any card unless he's against an opponent, a live opponent, a guy that could knock him out. Yeah, and it's not about I want to see Shakur Stevenson knocked out, but I want to see a competitive fight. I want to see, you know, I want to have an interest on, I want to be interested in what's going to happen. You know, I don't want to know what's going to happen, but we all know what's going to happen in this fight. Shakur Stevenson by decision. Boring, right? So that's my 2 cents. Yeah, let me know what you think. Have a good one.